Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. It's Rob and Sandra from My Wife the Dietitian, and this is Nutrition Nuggets.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Sandra.
That was a delicious dinner you made tonight.
Oh, yes. So we're gonna talk about, well, that and a few other things. What we do, if you get the newsletter, you'll know this. There's a little section in the newsletter called, what's it called? Rob's
Recipe.
I write it and I don't even remember. It's called Rob's Recipes. And they're, well, if you get the newsletter, you would know I'm a bit of a quirky chef.
Creative. I would call it, well, yeah, quirky,
well,
unconventional,
creative. Sure, I prefer
artistic.
Yeah, there you go. I like to have fun in the kitchen. I don't follow recipes. I just wing it. I make it up. I just look and see what we have, and I think, oh, that'd be good together. Let's try and see what this happens when these two things mix up, and we've found some amazing things. And like Sandra said, it is unconventional, but anyway. In the newsletter, that's in there every week. I've been sharing some of those with our newsletter subscribers. So there's another reason for you to join our newsletter.
And happily, your artistic, quirky, unconventional taste with different foods and recipes has rubbed off on our kids. And they will like hot sauce. They make food that is totally different than just like the average.
Oh yeah, like our daughter came into the kitchen the other day and like ripped open a can of mussels and just dove into it. And it's like there's not many teenagers that would do that. You know, they've grown up around us, clearly following in our footsteps when it comes to food. So that's great.
Oh yeah, and our son is just like, oh, he's a chef in the kitchen. Just all the spices that he'll just like crack like 10 eggs in a pan and just whip it up. Just so good.
I've never smelled eggs that smell as good as what he makes.
I know.
Like, that's eggs? Wow.
Oh, yeah. And our daughter is just like, she's very on the edge, like in terms of her tastes and the spicy. She likes hot sauce and spice.
Yeah. She didn't used to, but that came along over time, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always at my side when I'm making snacks in the kitchen. They're always like, "Oh, what you got there?" Oh.
They steal our food all the time.
Yeah, they always steal my food. It's crazy.
Mine too.
So today, we just made some French toast for dinner, which is, run of the mill, you think, but
actually we have not had French toast in a long time, and it was like, we have eggs, we have bread. Let's do French toast.
Yeah, we just needed a quick dinner, and I make French toast a little differently than what most people think of with French toast. So that's kind of what we're going to discuss. It's just one of my little quirky recipes.
Yeah, because French toast, I think, typically has been like sweet. It's got eggs and milk and vanilla, cinnamon and nutmeg, maybe some fresh fruit, maybe whipped cream, maybe syrup or icing sugar. That's kind of the standard, what you think of French toast. Like you think sweet, like kind of a breakfast sweet.
Yeah, and I'm all about that. I like various toppings with French toast. I usually don't make it with cinnamon or icing sugar because then it leaves it open. Because with French toast, I'll eat, 3 or 4 pieces maybe, and each piece I can, top, I guess, with something different. So sometimes it'll be something sweet like yogurt and fruit. Other times I'll put like peanut butter on it maybe, which is really good. I've put cheese on it. I've put salsa on it. It's one of my favorites.
I love that, yes.
Ketchup used to be the go-to, but then I discovered salsa years ago, which is like the spicy, chunky version of ketchup in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I pull out the salsa, people are like, "What are you doing? That's French toast." And I'm like, "Yeah, but French toast is just eggs and toast."
Exactly.
What do you put on your eggs and toast? You put ketchup on it.
Yeah.
You don't dump syrup all over it. You put ketchup on it. So it's kind of the same thing, right?
Savory.
Yeah. So that led me to think, well, let's cook them up a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight we threw some garlic in it. We had some green onion on top. I usually put butter in the pan too, because then you get the flavor. Like whatever is in the pan is just going to be like your bread is just a sponge for whatever's in the pan. So that you get this kind of like buttery, it's just taste the butter, which is tasty.
Oh yeah, golden brown, like so good.
Yeah, exactly. And the bread makes a huge difference. We didn't have fancy bread tonight, but if we did, that makes a huge difference because, you know, it's the texture of the bread. It's the flavor of the bread really comes out, the size of the bread.
Mm-hmm. I think we had like whole wheat tonight.
Yeah, just regular.
That was delicious though.
It was good. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it was like an 8 out of 10. But if we'd had like fancy rye bread or, you know, nice
sourdough,
thick Texas toast, you know, that stuff you can buy, it's just a loaf of bread, like in a plastic bag, kind of sliced bread, but it's thick. That stuff's awesome for French toast because it's thick. And, yeah, that just adds a bit more oomph.
Like, is it the texture? Like it gets like golden brown and like crispy, and then inside is like nice and like soft?
Yeah. Like with the thinner sliced bread, I find that it kind of flattens out. It's just, I don't know if it gets wet and it kind of gets flat. So it ends up being really thin, and it's almost like a cracker.
Or like a crepe.
It's not that thin, but with the thicker slices to begin with, it ends up being just a little bit more, there's a little bit more to it. So
I can see your eyes. We actually sit in the same room when we're doing the nutrition nuggets, so I can watch Rob's passion around his talking about this recipe. So
yeah. So yeah, what did I do? I we've got chickens too. So we had our own like fresh eggs, which is really nice when you're cracking an egg into the bowl and it's not like pale yellow. It's like dark orange, and you know, that just feels good too, to know that you're eating something good.
Oh, so delicious. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd mix up some eggs, put a little hot sauce in it, some garlic, some other spices if you're feeling creative. That's one thing I said in the beginning of the newsletter of my Rob's recipes section. I just explained that it's all about being creative in the kitchen. That's kind of what we're trying to encourage people to do, and not be afraid of cooking and not be afraid of trying new things, and maybe put the recipe book away and just
wing it.
Just wing it. You know, it's nothing bad is going to happen. I mean, it's just food. It's, you know, it's going to be edible. You know, most things are edible, at least. They might not be tasty, but they're edible. So,
and I think cooking is a skill like so many other skills in life, and the way you flex that muscle or develop your skill is to practice and to just do it and to just like wing it and try things and get in the kitchen. Don't be afraid. Maybe when you have some time and you're feeling creative, and like just throw things in a pan and start stirring them up.
I'm not against recipes either. I often use recipe books for ideas, but I don't like following step by step by step and pulling out the measuring cups, and it's just, I don't know. I lose the flow with that. I just like to do it myself and to say, oh, this looks like about the right amount, and you get to kind of know, like after you've done it a few times, it's like, okay, that's way too much garlic, and then next time, you know, okay, like 8 cloves of garlic is too much. We'll maybe cut it back to 5, right? And so that's what we mean is, you know, like practice makes perfect. And
or when you're tasting garlic into the next day, you might be like, oh, okay, I guess that was too many cloves.
Totally. Yeah.
Or it could be the right amount. I mean, it depends on your taste. Everybody's different. And that's the whole thing with tastes and flavors and cooking is it could be very individual.
Exactly. Yeah. And trying new things, you learn something. Every time you try something new, you're like, oh, that tastes good together. I'll remember that. Or I really like the way this spice tasted with these potatoes that I made. Or, you know, whatever it is. I really like the way the salsa tastes on my French toast. You know, I think when I first had salsa on my French toast, we were probably out of syrup. It's probably why I'm like, okay, well, what else can I put on my
Or
French
ketchup.
toast, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was probably ketchup, like the very first time. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'll try ketchup. Let's see what that tastes like. Because it's just eggs, right? And it was good. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And then that morphed into salsa eventually.
Oh yeah, and we got the canned fire roasted salsa. It's so like it's got that kind of like Cajun like roasted flavor.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. Like I think there's red peppers in it and roasted tomatoes and all the other spices. So
yeah,
it's quite delicious.
You know, it's funny. Another thing I mentioned in the latest newsletter was, I think it was all the things I put on cheese and crackers, all the different things. But one of them was peanut butter and salsa. And that's another one of those things where you think of like Thai food. You think of it like a Thai noodle kind of stir fry sort of thing. And they put peanut sauce on it and it's spicy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like peanut butter and salsa, right?
Or like peanut butter and jam, but the jam is the salsa. So like the peanut butter is sticky and dry. And then you have either jam that's sweet and moist, or you put salsa, which is like moist and spicy.
Yeah, and tangy, and that's my preference. I'm more that way versus the sweet. I like them both, but I mean, yeah, it's like I'm saying, it's just something different to try, and just because it's not the norm doesn't mean it's not good.
There's no food rules.
Yeah, well, some people think there are. Some people are like, oh, you can't have peanut butter and salsa. It has to be peanut butter and jam. But
there's no food rules.
We're here to tell you otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Try it. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have a lot of like, we grew up with ideas of how food goes together. And if you don't venture out and try new things, then that might be what you do in your life. You know, just eat how your parents ate. But it's good to venture out. It's good to be creative in the kitchen and have different combinations. If you travel around the world, you'll see there's like, remember banana ketchup that we got from the store, and it was based on someone from the Philippines told me about that, and it's really good.
It is really
quite
good.
Spicy.
I was a little
reluctant.
I'm never reluctant. I was a little hesitant about how good it would be. I was willing to try it, but I was just like, banana ketchup. Oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. But it was good. Like you could definitely taste the bananas, but they weren't the same as when you just eat a banana with peanut butter or something. You know, they were just kind of there in a different way. But I'm glad we tried it. I mean, that's a staple in our fridge now. That's awesome.
It's so good, and you can get like the spicy version or the regular.
Oh, I thought they were all spicy.
No.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I liked about it. Because it had a really sharp spice to it.
I think the regular is less, like you just taste more of the banana.
Okay. I don't know if I'd like that. I like the spicy part. You know, it's funny. When I was younger, younger being like in my 20s, I had a reputation of being able to eat anything. I think it's because I lived with a bunch of guys and they learned that Rob will eat anything. And so we were at this party one time and one of the guys I lived with is like,
that's why I married you.
Well, yeah.
I like that.
That's a definite bonus. Check that box.
Creativity in the kitchen.
So this party, they're all like, oh, watch this. Rob will eat anything. Here, open the fridge and we'll make something and we won't tell him what it is. And then he'll totally eat it. And they they made a sandwich or they made something. There was a base and it had like everything on it, you know, like all these crazy combinations of different things that they put on it and gave it to me to eat. And it's like, oh, whatever. It's all just food, you know.
Goes to the same place.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was edible. And it was like, but everyone was like, oh my God, that's crazy. There's like asparagus and barbecue sauce and honey and like, oh, whatever.
That sounds good.
Well, that's right.
Wrapped in bacon, and there you go.
Yeah, and there's probably a pickle on it or something.
Totally.
Who knows what else, what else was in there, but
it reminds me of that kids game show when we were growing up. Do you remember when the kids, they would get into the kitchen? I think it was called Just Like Mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the kids would like make I think they'd try really hard, but it ended up being a disaster, and then they'd see if the mom would eat it. It was like Mother's Day. Mom, I made you breakfast in bed. Here you go.
And then mom was like, had to eat it, and they didn't. It was kind of like, oh my God, I have to eat. It's almost like opening a can of dog food.
Are these pancakes cooked? Are they supposed to be creamy inside?
Totally. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, but didn't they all have like the same ingredients and they had to do something with it or something?
Yeah, but sometimes they didn't measure them right, and it ended up being different than.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But, it was
entertaining.
It'd be a really interesting study to like follow up on those kids nowadays because they'd be like in their 40s or 50s. And like, so do you cook? Like, are you a home cook? Like, do you.
Yeah. Like, how did that experience
influence their like cooking habits and baking? And I don't know. I mean, if you're on TV making food, you'd think that would influence the way you see food and how you eat later in life.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, it's really good to encourage your kids to be creative in the kitchen and not have them like follow rules about what and how to cook. Let them put mustard on their cereal, whatever.
Yeah.
I
agree. I totally agree. And, the last thing we want to do with our kids is like be on diets and like restricting everything. I can't eat bread. I can't eat gluten. I can't eat, all of the food rules and restrictions we have. I know it was a fun episode and we're getting into the serious stuff now, but I do see the problems that the ripple effects on kids growing up around food, because it's all about relationship with food. And we want to foster a positive, good relationship in our kids with food, because it's a lifelong relationship. They have to learn how to have lots of diversity and variety in their diet.
Exactly. And if they have positive experiences in the kitchen as a child, they're more likely to be like our son in there cooking his own meals and making awesome food, being creative. He doesn't feel any restrictions. And that's what kids should be like in the kitchen.
Yeah, no helicopter parenting in the kitchen. Just let them at it when they're old enough. And if they can get the pots and pans and the knife and cut their food up and start stirring and, cooking it up, like it's good for them to experiment. It's good for them to have some independence, and it's okay if they make mistakes. It's okay if they fail, because that's how they learn. And it's really good to let them have that autonomy in the kitchen.
You got it. There you go. So there's our little addition for the week. Be creative. Try something new. Join the newsletter, and see what we're talking about in our recipes here. And I guarantee you that they're delicious. They're not like super crazy. Well, they might seem super crazy, some of them, but they're all really good. Otherwise, we wouldn't eat them, because we like good food.
Crazy. I don't know. That's funny. A lot of people are like, what? You put salsa on your French toast? Are you crazy?
Yeah, I know.
But it's delicious.
It is, exactly. So yeah, the newsletter is, you can find that on our website. The sign up button for that is on our website, which is mywifethedietitian.com. You can also send us your comments, your questions, all that sort of stuff to our email, which you can also find on the website. The email address is mywifetherd@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media. We are on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and you're more than welcome to comment on there as well, or leave us a like, just a thumbs up, or any of those. They're all helpful to us and helpful to other people. That sort of shows that the show is worth listening to and that you like it, and other people should join too.
Yeah, and if you tell one of your friends or colleagues, coworkers, or your neighbor.
I think you should tell two of your friends. We should bump it up a notch here. You should tell two people.
Just tell one of your friends. Come on, at this
two.
Point.
And it's like that shampoo commercial, and they'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Please share it. It's good. We just want everyone to be healthy. So sharing is caring. So there you go. That is it for this week. Like I said, join the newsletter. You can find that on our website. The sign up button there. That's a weekly newsletter. It comes out every weekend or Monday morning if I'm slow on the weekend. Lots of great information there other than the recipes. So it's definitely worth looking into. So have a great week, everyone. We will be back next Monday with a full episode. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.